Alrighty, so it's going to be Rogue versus Warrior. Ooh, not the starting hand you want, it's the Warrior.
Actually, I don't mind a starting hand like this because what it means is you can't redraw these cards in your opening hand.
That's true.
So I don't mind these hands at all. And him indicating
I guess if that was your redraw hand, he would be a pretty sad man.
Yeah, that would be really bad news. Yeah. Him wanting to keep this Core Crown Elite.
He's thinking about it.
May speak sort of volumes on how he approaches this matchup, because it may say that he wants to be more aggressive and try to kill his opponent before they're able to get sort of auctioneers really rolling and doing what this Miracle Rogue deck does, which is he wants to double poison up an Assassin's Blade. We know that he has access to Assassin's Blade in his deck, so a lot more potential damage against this Warrior deck.
I think Trump knows as well. Did he not play it one of the turns? I think he played it earlier and then...
Yeah, he had to play it at some point, so Trump is aware of it as well. So there's two schools of thought on this. Number one, he can try to end the game versus Realz, or number two, he can continue to armor up and try to build such an overwhelming amount that he can kind of just ignore it and push through it. But looking at his list, it doesn't look like he's got a way to destroy Assassin's Blade. So trying to kill his opponent may just be outright a better play.
Yeah, he has no Harrison. And I mean, now, this is a question for you. Now, I've never really played Rogue. Is having one Assassin's Blade versus two, is that like always?
Yeah, two Assassin's Blades is too much.
Okay, so there's like no way.
It's an option of either access to one or not at all.
Okay, so I was curious about that. Now, turn one Armor Smith, quite nice. You talked about the strength of the Armor Smith against the Rogue. So it seems like quite the nice turn one.
Right, really happy to draw it here. And of course, Realz doesn't know if he's going to be running one or two Armor Smiths. So it's difficult for him to predict whether or not you should be killing this or leaving it alone. But a really aggressive play from Trump here, again, sort of indicating what his school of thought was with the Core Crown Elite. He wants to pressure his opponent and try to finish this game because he's aware he doesn't have a way to deal with that Assassin's Blade, which is... It sounds like not much, but one card in this matchup makes a world of difference.
Yep. All right, so he's going to just take that out, actually, with the Abyss. But, I mean, he gives him 2 more armor with that. He has to take the 2 attacks. So
he also takes 3 damage from it.
Yeah, I mean, a bit annoying for sure. He's at 22 HP now versus a 34 HP Warrior with nothing on the board. And it's looking like he's just going to have to play this SI Agent without the combo. So, I mean, it's two cards in a row he's had to play without combo. Already, aren't you feeling a little bit... not like this is going so well. I mean, this is feeling like a little bit gross of a start for the Rogue.
Yeah, and Realz' position, I'm not comfortable at all at the moment because you've had to use a lot of potential damage. Again, you've used an Eviscerate for 2, and you've taken 3 extra damage from this Armor Smith.
And you lost the 2
given your opponent combo. 2 armor instead of 1 from a combo to Eviscerate, and you're ending up in a position like this. That play might be a little bit oversighted by Trump. I think he may be undervaluing how important Cruel Taskmaster is in this matchup. Realz, on the other hand, an Auctioneer is a huge draw, which is going to be preparation into Conceal. And now suddenly he's looking at the ability to draw a lot of cards. And Trump, no Brawl in his deck and no minion to play. Even if he did have Brawl, suddenly he's going to have to give up a lot of cards to his opponent.
Yeah. Oh, the Assassin's Blade. Wow. So he needs those deadly poisons now. Now, sapping that back, interesting play here. He wants to get the mana cost, and I guess he's just really just digging for those Assassin's Blades. He does get the Leroy out, which is quite nice, and he can heal himself up. Looking like he just wants to go for more card draw, just really wants that. Interesting. I mean, it is giving his opponent another card draw because he can just battle cry it out again.
Wow.
But do you think that is... Oh, wow. Another area guy here.
One of his major concerns, I think, here with this play is he wants to shred his opponent's armor down. So if his opponent can shield slam this Auctioneer, he's got to use another card to do it. So he's not able to play the Azure Drake. Well, actually, yeah, because he only has 6 mana here. And then similarly, if his opponent chooses to play Azure Drake, he's okay with that because he's not worried about his opponent's card access at the moment.
Now,
he's only worried about finding the right winning combo.
So he's probably just going to War Axe armor up. Okay, Whirlwind. So okay, he's going to save that. And now, I mean, how do you feel about that? Does he have the 2 Armor Smiths in his deck?
No, he's got 1 Armor Smith in there, so that's something really critical to note.
And does he have 2 Acolytes? He does. So
2 Acolytes.
Okay, so the Acolyte, you're not going to be able to use that to activate any Acolytes or anything like that, but the 1 Armor Smith is gone. The Whirlwind is gone. Double heal up for Realz. Wow. Things are starting to turn around a lot for Realz.
Yeah, this is a big board position
it's a huge
to be having now. And sort of what he's got to consider at this point.
Now, do you Shield Slam one and kill the other with the axe, you think?
I think you could potentially even Shield Slam both of these.
Okay.
And again, sort of the concern he has is
keeping your HP
does he want to pay this much life total to be able to get past this point? So Trump, again, Mayor of Value Town, he knows when cards are valuable. He's going to go for this Core Crown Elite. I like the Core Crown Elite here a lot. But sort of the trade-off, again, you have to make is, are you willing to pay 3 points of life for this? He certainly is. I can't disagree with it. I think it's a fine play as well.
Yeah.
But I think there's arguments on both sides of the coin for this.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, he still has both the shield blocks in his deck, right? So maybe he's kind of counting on getting a shield block later to use with that slam, which makes a lot of sense to me. Interesting that he did not decide to play his Gadgetzan Auctioneer. He is going to actually equip that Assassin's Blade, so kind of showing that now. It does take a bit of damage to the face to be able to take that out. And now, if you're Trump here, I mean, I think it's just the Azure Drake for the card draw, I assume, and then armor up. But I mean, theoretically, you could go Baron Geddon or something, but I think you want, with that other Shield Slam in your hand, you don't really want to be shredding your own armor, right?
Right. It's kind of hard to play this Baron Geddon. Again, like you said, you're going to be dealing yourself 2 points of damage. You're not going to be able to armor up.
Interesting.
There's sort of no reasonable development points. And touching on that, this is why he's choosing to play Black Knight, is because he anticipates no targets out of a Miracle Rogue deck for Black Knight. And so he doesn't feel like he needs to draw a card because his hand's still pretty stable. So Black Knight in this position is literally just a 4/5, and if he doesn't use it now, he's likely not able to use it again pretty much throughout the course of the game. And that spells pretty bad news coming over to Realz' turn. This is a huge hand at the moment with a developed Assassin's Blade going into 9 mana and a lot of options here. And granted, while they're kind of clunky, they're all really good.
Yeah, and I mean, he has double spell power, for a combo there if he wants to go that way. And he has the Auctioneer to start doing some work with that. He can sap the Black Knight back. He could obviously...
He keeps looking at his deck size.
Yeah.
I think he's trying to figure out how likely he is to draw Shadow Steps. Or poisons for that matter. He's 2 poisons left or 1?
2. He hasn't drawn any.
Wow.
As far as I know.
Those are both huge draws left in his deck at the moment.
Yeah, I think he's been taking for those. But did it feel a little bit like of a desperation move? Do you think to use the Assassin's Blade before the Deadly Poison? Do you think he was just like didn't really want to do that, but he felt like he had to, or was that he's pretty happy still doing that?
I think his major concern is with development, and I think at this point, because he hasn't found a Shadow Step at this point, what he's looking to do is kind of take advantage of the fact that he has this Assassin's Blade developed to allow him to freely develop later on. And then when he draws Shadow Steps, he's able to Leroy and Shadow Step at that point of the game. So he's sort of chalking it up to Harrison here when he plays this Assassin's Blade.
He wants the Blade Flurry. I mean, he's mousing over that Azure Drake. So, I mean, do you think he goes Azure Drake, Dagger to the face, Blade Flurry? Or
I think it would be.
Saps it?
I think it would be very oversighted to play
to lose the durability.
Right. So wow, that's a really interesting play. I didn't see that one coming. That's a 6/6, and that's actually the perfect size against a Warrior deck because a lot of Warrior decks lately have been running Big Game Hunter. Yep. So these are some major threats that are coming across the board.
He has in his hand.
Right, and this damage is incrementally going to add up to a lot. And his hand is starting to become pretty big costed. It's becoming difficult to actually diffuse his board position.
For sure. So this is going to be pretty interesting now. Now, what do you think about the faceless there? Like, do you think that it's worthwhile doing faceless, or do you think that you armor up, shield slam, execute that 6/6? I mean,
he's going to go with slam execute. It looks like.
Look for the card draw.
Ooh, Corcoran Elite's a pretty good draw actually.
Now, do you think you save the execute then? I mean, it seems like there's probably nothing better to execute, though. You could obviously trade the Corcoran Elite in, but is that really worthwhile, do you think, at this point?
I think what he's looking for is how he can begin applying pressure.
Yeah.
Because at this point, the Assassin's Blade's already been developed, so he's looking at trying to avoid 10 potential damage burst from that, or at least I think that's what he's thinking. I like Corcoran Elite here a lot, but I think you can justify pretty much any of these minions in his hand. Especially the Big Game Hunter at this point, because Edwin's been played. So you don't have a huge threat of a 7-power minion coming out of the Rogue deck other than Black Knight here I don't like because he's foregoing an armor up.
Yeah.
And this is sort of one of those stages of the game where it's gotten critically important to be climbing out of range of what your opponent can do.
Yeah, especially because he still hasn't drawn the Deadly Poisons, which is a little bit unlucky, but he does have.
Going to see a Blade Flurry here instead.
Yeah, with the 5 damage, that's huge, man, and he does have. Next turn, he has a Shadow Step Leroy, so
golly.
I mean he has 8 damage on the board right there, plus the Shadow Step Leroy, so he has lethal.
He's 1 mana off of some pretty big plays with the Shield Block and Baron Geddon.
Yeah.
An alternate play he can have is he can armor up and Shield Slam and play Baron Geddon, but again it's going to leave him at 16 life, and your opponent has drawn so many cards, and he's going to be drawing 2 more when you kill these 2 minions.
Yeah.
This is a tough spot if you're Trump, and I I don't really think there's any way he could have avoided being in this position.
And he gives him 2 card draws as well.
Right, yeah.
By
he
doing
could have
that.
he could have a few extra points of armor, but I don't know if that's going to be the difference in winning or losing this particular game, given how the game state's unfolding.
I mean, I really do like the armor up shield slam Baron Geddon. I think that's probably his best move, but he does give him 2 card draws. I just don't see a better play. I mean, you could go a Zerdrake, something like that. You could go a Zerdrake, see what you draw, and then go shield block, armor up or something. Or you could do, obviously, you could do maybe like a Core Crown Elite and then Faceless Manipulator it or something. I don't know. I mean, there's some moves you can make, but I think he just wants to shield block and see what he gets, and then maybe armor up and copy something.
I think he's really concerned with giving his opponent these 2 cards from these minions. That Alex Straza could be interesting. I'm not sure how much damage Realz had in his hand.
He has the Shadow Step Leroy.
So it's 12 points of damage. Does he have any eviscerates or anything?
I don't believe he had any eviscerates, but he has 2 cards to trade in to draw them.
I feel like this position is a little bit oversighted from Trump. I think he's focusing a lot on how he can stay alive.
Yeah.
But I think a game plan at this point is not only how you stay alive, but how you actually kill your opponent as well. So I would have liked to see armor up, shield slam, and Baron Geddon here. Give your opponent the 2 card draws, hope that he whiffs, and then be able to apply pressure and go from there.
Okay, well this is pretty solid anyway. I mean, he does remove that with the shield slam.
Right.
After the shield block, and it looks like he wants to go Core Crown Elite and then just an armor up. So he will be at a very high life total, so he won't be able to get lethal that turn. And he is applying pressure, so that actually ends up being a very nice move.
One of the only downsides of this is that his opponent now has 3 points of damage that they can deliver as they see fit.
Yeah.
That's the only other downside for this play that I see.
And 2 card draws that he can get whenever he wants.
So he has a little bit less information to work with this turn, but he has more options available to him.
Now,
so sort of a double-sided trade-off.
Does he have enough damage?
Is it 12, 13, 14, 15?
Because he's
got 18 points of damage at the moment.
So he's going to actually just go for the card draws.
Yeah, I like this play a lot.
He's going to be able to get a lot.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
That's a brutal draw at the moment.
Now, do you attack face or do you get the extra card draws here?
I think
he's
in
gonna
this
trade.
position that the extra card draws are worth a little bit more.
Oh, and the cold blood. That's got to be it.
That's a lot of damage at this point.
I mean, that's so much damage. I mean, the cold blood, and he combos that. Oh, and the shift, so he can combo it easily with that. Oh my God. Oh, and another deadly poison.
And that's going to be 3 damage.
Oh.
Wow, look how much damage he has next turn.
Oh.
So even if Trump manages to kill this 4-4, 18, 22, 25, he's got 31 potential damage.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything he can do.
I've got the beast.
I mean, he can armor up, but what does he do? Nothing. He's dead. I mean, he can go.
Wow,
He can go.
eviscerate.
He can go okay, he's not going to cold blood the first one. Oh, now he's going to cold blood it. Okay. And then he gets preparation.
This is 35 damage.
Oh my God, dude.
I'm almost out of cards.
Oh no.
He is almost out of cards, though.
That's not a good sign against rogues, man. Oh God, he's even drawing the double backstab. Is he gonna? Maybe he's gonna clear the board a little BM or something, but.
If he BMs too much, he gets fatigued out, but I don't think he's going to be doing
Well,
it.
I mean, it's
It
not
looks like he
can
just
kill
wants to
himself
win the
with
game,
fatigue,
so yeah, I can't blame him for this one.
Yep.
And that's going to be GG. Realz
Wow.
taking it with a reverse all kill with a deck that he's very well known for, and he's playing it extremely well, but showing you sort of the power of something like